With the MLB trade deadline 2 weeks away, teams are preparing to buy and sell players. Teams on the fringe, like our Texas Rangers, are wondering which one we're going to do, as are many of the fans, myself included. And I have some theories. Right now, the Rangers are sitting at 48 and 49. That's good for third in the AL West behind the Astros and Mariners. 8.5 games behind the Astros. And we're 3.5 games out of a wild card spot with that record. Last year, we were in a very similar situation. We were at 47 and 50 at this time. And we didn't make too big a splash at the trade deadline. Some people think we're going to do something similar. And I kind of feel the same. Last year, we traded away Michael Lorenzen, a starting pitcher, to clear up the rotation a little bit, and traded for Carson Kelly and Andrew Chafin, a catcher and a relief pitcher, respectively. Those changes ultimately didn't change our team too much, and we ended with a record of just under 500. And so we'll see what Chris Young intends for us at this trade deadline. I have some theories. I have some theories for if we're buyers and if we're sellers. I don't know how much we're willing to give up to be buyers, or how much teams are really even asking. I mean, there obviously some players are going to be more expensive than others, but I have some ideas of players we might pursue, as well as players we might sell if we end up doing that. I'll go into a little bit more theory crafting at the end, but if we're buyers, well, I want to say this actually. I want to say this before we get started into anything. I believe there's a decent chance we're both. Especially, I've been saying this a little bit throughout the year, but if we had Cody Bradford still coming back, and with John Bray coming back, I believe there's a chance that we take the route of selling a high-profile pitcher in this deadline, like Corbin or Molly, and still buying other pieces that we need. Gray is still going to come back sometime soon, and so I still foresee that as a possibility, but definitely less so now that Bradford's not going to be coming back this season. If we choose to buy, which again I think is the correct move, our biggest position of need in terms of a positional player is probably first baseman, which I think is obvious with the fact that Ezekiel Duran has been taking reps at first, Josh Smith has been taking reps at first, even with a healthy Jake Berger, and reportedly we're planning to call up Rowdy Tellez from AAA Round Rock, a veteran first baseman, obviously not an ideal situation. So it's obvious that we know we have a need at first base, especially with Berger having been on and off, and just put recently onto the injured list, and him not performing to what we wanted. In the same vein, we could also use a designated hitter, which, again, it's unfortunate because our pickups in the offseason, Jake Berger and Jock Peterson, are first baseman and designated hitter. And those are two positions in need because they haven't performed to the way we wanted to, and or they're injured. Peterson, that's both. Berger has been a little bit of both. He was better after he came back from his designation, after being sent down to the minor leagues for a little bit. He started batting better, but he still hasn't been great. Certainly not to the level we had when we had Nathaniel Lowe. Additionally, another positional need we have is closing pitcher. Despite having great starting pitching and relief pitching, in the actual ninth inning, in the last inning of the game, we struggle. We have 17 blown saves, tied for fourth in the MLB, fourth worst. So closing pitcher is a real position in need. Despite having, again, good relief pitching and starting pitching, we don't have a serious closing pitcher. Again, something I raised at the start of the season, and our closer by committee solution to that issue hasn't been working out. And there are a couple of guys on the trade deadline that I think would work well for us there. That would be good fits for us. For first baseman, honestly, I think my favorite fit would be Ryan O'Hearn from Orioles, they're probable sellers. There's a chance they might buy too, but most people view them as sellers, and so do I, at least of the few veteran pieces they have. They have so much young depth that they're not really, unless they get a huge major offer, they're not going to be selling too many pieces, but they'll probably sell the few veterans they do have. Ryan O'Hearn is one of them. This season he's batting 286 batting average with an 840 OPS. A bat that we sorely need, and then again, first baseman, a position we could definitely have, and we could have him a designated hitter if we do have Jake Berger batting instead, or Rowdy Tellez, but that's probably not the situation if we do end up getting Ryan O'Hearn. He's probably my favorite solution for first base. Additionally, a lot of people are throwing around Josh Naylor. They think, and a lot of people are throwing him around for us. They think there's a chance we trade for Josh Naylor. I'm not opposed to that either. I think that'd be a great thing. The Diamondbacks are even more likely to sell than the Orioles. And Josh Naylor has a 294 batting average with an 817 OPS, so he's also been a solid bat. Certainly better than most of our bats. He has a WAR sitting around a 1.1, which is higher than the majority of our players. Yeah. So for first baseman, those are like the two big names that we would really, I believe, would have interest in pursuing, and I think both would be definite upgrades for us. Again, it's unfortunate that your off-season signings, your big off-season signings or trades, in Jake Berger and Jack Peterson we're trying to solve at the trade deadline, but truly, both of these ads at first base, and again, they could both be designated for hitters for us and do better than most of what we've had rotating through that slot. I think both of these would be good pickups. If you want a specifically designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna is likely on the market from the Braves. He hasn't been having the best season of his career. He's batting 239 with a 762 OPS, but he's historically, career-wise, a pretty solid bat, a reliable bat. So if they are looking for strictly a designated hitter, that's a pickup. For me, I'd rather pick up first baseman. Again, I think Ryan O'Hearn would be my first choice, and I think we could get him for a little cheaper than if we go for Josh Naylor. But both would be good ads. And for closing pitchers, I think there's actually a couple options. If the Angels end up being sellers, some people have them as buyers, some people have them as sellers. They're in a very similar position to us. I believe only 1.5 games behind us. If the Angels end up being sellers, their relief/closing pitcher of Kenley Jansen, I'm actually a pretty big fan of. He's got 16 saves this season with only 2 losses, which beats our best by a bit. We have Luke Jackson with 9 saves and 4 losses is our best closer. So he's been really clutch, and he has a ERA of 3.38 this season, but that's ballooned by when those couple of losses he does have were a decent amount of runs as opposed to his usual saves, which are very few to no runs. Another piece that I think would be a good trade, the Minnesota Twins, who are definite sellers. Johan Duran has 15 saves in 44 games, has 4 losses to his name, and with a 1.66 ERA this season. A really good resume. He's had a really good season as well, and he is and Duran has a bit less major league experience, which could make him cheaper, especially since he doesn't have a catalog of Jansen, who has the 4-time All-Star, and who is a 4-time All-Star. Excuse me. So I think both those pieces would be worth pursuing as well, and even if it means giving up maybe one of our younger relief guys. Um, who's to say? Again, I can see Corbin or Molly still getting sent out despite um, us being buyers. That's still something I could really see. But those are like those are like the 5 big names that I really think we should pursue. Uh, again, I think like I don't think cause I am of the camp that we don't need to add so much. We have our 6 best position players: Seager, Langford, Simeon, Smith, Josh Smith, Adolis Garcia, and Evan Carter. Um, all our quality starters all have a WAR of 1.5 or higher. Seager almost has almost all-star level play. Um, but it's just such a steep drop off afterwards. And you look at those names, you got all 3 outfielders, shortstop, second base, and of course, the guy who's playing third base for us right now, Josh Smith, and he's playing it good enough that I don't think we need to find a third base replacement, especially since we still have Josh Young in the minors who will hopefully pick it up. But we can't be certain. But even then, Josh Smith is still a good enough player. After that, it's just a steep drop off. We don't have a reliable first baseman, and our catchers have just been average, which is nothing wrong with just average catcher. It's hard to have a great catcher. It's one of the more difficult positions in baseball. They haven't been bad, they've just been average, both Jonah Heim and Higashioka. So, our real position in need is first base. And then, again, we have good relief pitchers and we have good starting pitchers. I'll pull that up. Our best pitchers, our best pitchers by WAR, obviously Evaldi, DeGrom, Molly, all have quality starter level, have been quality starters this season. And Latz, Milner, Garcia, Wynn, and Corbin have all been completely serviceable starters. And for relief pitchers especially, that's completely fine. But a closer, you really want someone that can lock in. We haven't really had anybody like that. Again, 17 blown saves, 4th most in the league, and no one with more than 10 saves as we've been having. Again, this sort of closer by committee situation. So it's, again, I believe our position need first base and closing pitcher. I think we should pursue Ryan O'Hearn or Josh Naylor, but I believe Ryan O'Hearn is more likely to get, and Kenley Jansen. But again, I also believe Duran's a more likely get, and I'd be completely fine with Duran too. They're both having incredible seasons. All 4 of those players are having incredible seasons. Marcell Ozuna, I wouldn't be angry if we got him, but I definitely would prefer the other 4 names on this list. I think just 2 ads to give us a quality level starting first baseman, or at least a serviceable one. We really haven't had good first base play this season. That's why we've been having a rotation of Ezekiel Duran, Jake Berger. We've had Josh Smith there at times when Josh Young was playing better. We had Josh Smith playing first base instead of our actual designated first baseman because of how rough the play's been there. And again, we're calling up Rowdy Tellez. So I really do think we'll try to find a first base replacement in the trade deadline. And I think Ryan O'Hearn, Josh Naylor, those are our 2 most likely candidates. I think we take Ryan O'Hearn, though. I think that's who we end up with. I think that's who we should end up with, rather. And then Kenley Jansen, Orion Duran. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. Our 2 pitchers that have been clutch. Both have at least 15 saves a season, very few losses, and a respectable ERA. I think both, and they're both relief pitchers slash closing pitchers. So they can also eat up a couple of, not a couple, but like one, maybe 2 innings as opposed to just strictly 1 inning. Which, if we keep going into extra innings, is something that could be useful, as opposed to having it just 1 inning pitch closing pitcher. You have someone that could pitch 1.5, maybe 2 complete innings, with still pitching quality pitches. So, both of those players I would love to pursue. I think if we get one of them, that clears up a whole place. Let's say having one of those guys turns half of our blown saves into wins, and we have 7, 8 more 8 more wins instead of losses, and we're in a much better spot. So I think getting that closing pitcher is a big help, and then if we can have someone at first base that's consistently there and playing consistently good baseball, and again, both those guys that I've mentioned have great bats, would be huge, I think. I believe, I know, would be huge, which be huge gets. But if by chance I'm wrong and the Texas Rangers are sellers, who are we getting rid of? Again, I still think it's likely or possible that, I don't know about likely, but possible that we do see Corbin or Molly leaving, even if we do end up buying a couple of those guys. But if we become true sellers and we get, younger guys, prospects, guys with multiple years on their contracts, stuff like that, who are we selling? Popular names being thrown around. Adolis Garcia, who's on his last year, who still has is arbitration eligible, but is on the last year of his current contract, is a bit name going around. He's a quality outfielder. He's been great defensive outfielder, and then average on the offensive side of the ball this year. But obviously we know he has the potential to be great, a great power hitter, definitely. But he's a name that a lot of people are throwing around. And if we do choose to sell, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. We have a lot of outfield depth. We got a good young outfield depth. Obviously, we have Langford and Carter right there starting with him right now. But then we have Osuna and other young guys like that in our in our farm system that are primary outfielders. We also have Josh Smith, who's perfectly capable of playing outfield. So he's a big name that might be going away if we do end up selling. Again, Corbin and Molly, if we end up selling and going full on, we're probably losing both of them. With addition, Milner, Martin. Some people were saying we might lose Heim or Higasioka. They're both serviceable catchers, and would both be great backups for a team looking to make a run, make a push. I think we're more likely to lose Higasioka, but I wouldn't be surprised if Heim goes, especially since he's been struggling more this season. And they're both playing at a very similar level. We do have a lot of players that are restricted free agents rather than unrestricted free agents, or have a lot of years on their contract. So these are our main we're gonna sell them. These are our main potential selling candidates. I think there's also a chance we sell a younger guy that doesn't really fit with our system, like Ezekiel Duran, or maybe some of those outfielders, like maybe Hellman or Osuna. That'd be a weird situation. But it's not impossible. I do think it's a possibility that we sell some of those guys if clubs are looking for outfield depth. But I know our untouchables are Seager, Simeon, Garcia, or not Garcia. Sorry, I know our untouchables are Seager, Simeon, DeGrom, Evaldi, Carter, Langford, probably Young. It'd be pretty crazy if we trade Young, but Young could also be a great trade piece. He still has a high ceiling. He's been struggling this season, but teams would trade a lot for a player like that. He's still young, and has proven he can play at the MLB level, at an MLB level. So it'd be it's unlikely we trade away Young, but if we do, one, I think we get a lot in return, and two, it's not impossible, but very unlikely. Um, but yeah, sorry, I was saying who saved. Seager, Simeon, Degrom, Evaldi, all safe. They all have multiple years left on their contracts. Um, and then we have a lot of our young guys like Carter, Langford, um, that are locked in for a while. Smith is still arbitration eligible and all that, restricted free agency. So, um, yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. I think that um, this will be an important trade deadline, and I think again, I'm sort of predicting it to be similar to last season, but I think that we need to add actual pieces. These were both Carson Kelly and Andrew Chafin were like um, depth pieces almost. I mean, they're both quality players. I mean, Chafin was having a great season, especially before coming to the Texas Rangers, and Carson Kelly's a quality catcher. But he wasn't like, oh, this is now the best catcher on our roster. And Andrew Chafin wasn't like, oh, this is the best reliever on our roster. Well, he was kind of like that, but he ended up coming and playing at a similar level to our better relievers when he came here. Um, But I do think that's what we need in this deadline. We need okay, this guy is now our starting first baseman, 100%. He's going to be one of the better bats in our lineup. And we need this is our closer. He's going to go in clutch situations and shut it down. We can't be lukewarm on the people we get. I don't think Chris Young will be that way. I think he's going to go for the bigger impact players. And again, I really don't think we sell. We've proven that we're a hopeful organization, Chris Young and Bruce Bochy, and we see a lot in this team. And again, we've been so good since like pretty much the start of June, and we have so much talent on this ball club that I don't see us being sellers. But if we are sellers, we can get a pretty big haul, I think. But I really don't see us being sellers. And I think the Texas Rangers really try to make a push. And I can see us getting there. I mean, I fully believe that even the team we have now is fully capable of being a wild card team. We make 1, 2, 3 additions maybe. And we're definitely in a wild card spot and probably or possibly fighting for the AOS. The Astros are playing great this season, but not to the level they've been playing. We're only 8.5 games back. We got plenty of games to make up that deficit. So, I don't think we're sellers. I think we're buyers, and I think we're a playoff team this season, especially if we do add a quality first base or even just a quality bat. But yeah, that's my prediction. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you're interested in hearing more. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Again, the third time.